Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives, the show that interviews creative professionals no matter what their genre. I'm Melanie Perry.
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans of our show will know that we're part of the Creatives Group, the private business club for creative professionals everywhere. Together, we help you to create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, and help you to grow your creative business. But as I said, this is On the Couch. So Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
On the couch today is internationally renowned artist Lyndsay Russell. And she's also renowned for living and working on a houseboat on the River Thames. So let's get her on the couch. Hello, Lyndsay. Welcome to On the Couch. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Lovely to see you, Melanie, and lovely to see you, Julie. Thank you for asking me.
You have such an interesting professional life story. Before we start talking about your artwork, could you give us a brief rundown of everything that you've done?
Gosh, I've been lucky because I think I've done about every fun, glamorous career imaginable through my journey, all kind of linking into each other. So I actually studied advertising copywriting and went into various advertising agencies. I segued for a very little while into the circus. I have a circus family, and I took time out to be in the circus as in a cowgirl act. That's way in the past.
Wait, hold on. Before you leave that subject matter, tell us about the circus family and being a cowgirl act.
Oh, well, I have circus cousins. And they always used to joke about run away and join the circus when I was a kid. And we used to come to town. I'd be desperate to join them. And then I got a call out of the blue because at the time I was also quite keen on acting, and they offered me an equity card if I went into the World Circus Championships. And the reason they wanted me wasn't my talent. It was that my cousin Bobby and Maury had an act that was just two of them as a cowboy act. And they were up against a Venezuelan cowboy act with about 12 horses and a huge act. And they knew visually it wouldn't look good on a TV screen. So they wanted me to dress out with another cousin, Annabelle. And the two of us went and learned to spin ropes and do all this bit and that bit and this bit. And it was 6 weeks of hysterical fun. And I got my equity card from that. So I then combined copywriting freelance, which was very well paid, with commercials and corporate videos on the acting front. And between the ages of 20 and 32, I was having a blast combining the two careers.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it was great. I was never the starving actress, which was the problem. I don't think it made me work hard enough to push that side, but I was having a great time. I then segued from writing. I ended up my mother lived in Antigua, and I went out to Antigua Race Week, and somebody from the BBC asked if I'd like to cover Antigua Race Week for the World Service. So I ended up being given a Marantz, and I recorded the event. And then I found another story while I was out there about dying llama on a hot rock, which just sounds bizarre, but it made headlines. And from then on, I started doing radio reporting. So I ended up Women's Hour, Loose Ends, Kaleidoscope, finding fun stories and putting them on tape. That then segued into script writing because I was still pushing the acting side. So I ended up writing my own plays and got an agent through that. That was all kind of segued together. It was great. Then the radio, I got picked up by papers saying, did I want to write a journalistic piece to go with the audio I was doing? So I started going into journalism, worked for all the nationals. And they were all fun pieces. There were things like staying in Britain's most haunted house, or it's one of the first to bungee jump, things like that. Crazy stories, really fun to do. So I did that for about 10 years. Then Talk Radio asked me on the back of a story I wrote about how to flirt for The Independent. I get a phone call asking me for the person who was running the course. And at the end of her piece, she'd said to me, oh, you should go into radio. And I'd written, was she flirting? That was my last line. And they said, well, yeah, she do have a good voice. Come and talk to us about working as a producer. So then I got an interview with Talk Radio and I worked on the Drive Time show and then the Creatures of the Night overnight show as a presenter. So it just all kind of segued. And then I had a running a magazine called The City Player, which combined journalism, photography, all of that. The photography came because I was covering a piece on Dr. Ruth. I don't know, do you remember Dr. Ruth? She was this
Yes, I've
lady from
met her.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was coming into town and I was asked to do a story on her. Uh, and the photographer didn't turn up. And I knew I would lose the story if I didn't have a photo to go with it. She was on a night out with a load of Chippendale strippers, and that needed
So
photography
sort
or
of
the
thing
story
she would
wouldn't
do, is
sell.
it?
And she was exploring our British sexuality. I think, she's a sexologist or something. Anyway, the photographer didn't turn up, so I raced home, got a camera, took the photos for the night, sent it into the Independent, and they paid me for the photographs, which was great. In fact, more than for the article. So I then started combining photography, journalism. So all freelancing always, all my life. And that'd be a job here, a job there, and it all kind of knit together. So I did that into my 40s. Uh,
That's the thing about that kind of career path that you've been on, is that you open a door and that opens other doors
oh,
and other
100%.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And my mother, the one thing my mother did tell me that was good, she said, always say yes, you can do it, and then worry about it. And that's been my motto all my life. Always give it a go. Don't worry, don't be frightened. And also follow up. If you meet somebody and they say, get in touch, do it. A lot of people don't. They don't follow up leads. And
Yeah.
I think I'm very aware of, oh, that is a good idea, or that person's great, and I should contact them. So
Yeah, absolutely. You've hit the
way
nail
to
on the
go.
head. A lot of people complain about not having opportunities or, oh, I did this, but it didn't go anywhere.
Ah,
Think about how proactive were you in making that happen?
absolutely.
Just one conversation isn't enough. You need to keep the ties going.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I would go with that, and you never know who you're talking to. I mean, that's the thing. There has been a lot of serendipity in great ways that I have to say there's been a lot of serendipity. Um,
And that leads on to another good tip, is that you never trash talk anybody,
ever.
really
No,
ever, because you
no,
never know who you're
no.
talking to.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so, so true. And also things come from, I mean, one of the biggest career turns I had was I think it was about 36, 37. I doing loads of journalism at that point. I had an agent who was organizing a write a novel in a day competition at Groucho's, which is this club in the West End that was very big in its time. And she contacted me because they had 30 professional writers, but they were all men. And this was at a time also when the reality TV was not known. And she said, "Oh, look, I really need a woman. You need to take part." And I had no desire at that time to write a book. Absolutely none. I was really happy with my freelance career as a journalist, no desire. And I said to her, I really don't want to do it. I don't want to lock myself away for literally the whole weekend in a club. And she blackmailed me. She said, if you don't do it, she said, I'm dropping you as a client. And I was like, you're kidding me. What? She said, no, we need a spokeswoman. We need a woman. We need, female presence. And I was single at the time. She said, look, you'll have a great time. You'll meet, loads of writers. Go do it. So I went along. Actually, this is how my book got published, really. I went along and I had no idea what to write at the time. And I was getting ready at 6 in the morning. I was cursing her, having to get a cab into the West End to lock myself away. And um, I was thinking, what am I going to write about for 24 hours? And as I was getting dressed, I kind of looked down and I thought, oh, I put on weight. And I thought, oof, I'm going to have to wear a black dress. Pity, because I've got this really pretty white dress. And that's when suddenly a light bulb went off, and I thought, God, wouldn't it be great to be in a world where actually it's really positive to be curvy and big? and I'd wear the white dress with pride. You know, how amazing would that be? And then I was thinking maybe one would highlight stretch marks with a highlight pen because, you know, stretch marks are considered attractive in this reverse world. And I started all the way to the competition. I kept thinking, how would it be? You know, newspapers, maybe they would circle girls that had no cellulite. In those days, oh my God, magazines used to circle women with cellulite. Don't remember those days on those shelf magazines. They would circle your thigh because it had no cellulite. And I was just playing with this reverse world. By the time I got there, I had an idea of a book called Fat Chance. So I ended up getting into it, which surprised me 100%. I didn't think I would at all.
So when you say when I got there, where did you go? Were you all
Groucho's? We were all herded into Groucho's club upstairs. They had
and you were all given a desk and a chair?
30 computers, 30 desks, no talking, no notes, TV cameras. Right. I mean, it must have been the most boring TV story to cover ever.
And how many hours did they give
30
you?
writers doing this and then nipping off to the bar whenever they could to have a drink and then come back and write again. And it was they turned around, they chose the winners on the Monday. They had the books, they had everything published by Wednesday. And
Hold on a moment. How many hours were you given to write?
24. So you arrived and you were given, it was 12 hours straight. And then we had to continue. There was a break, and then it was another 12 hours, 24 hours in total,
Wow.
write a novel in 24 hours. I managed to, I can't remember how many, I think I had about 70 pages done by the end of it. And very sore fingers. Anyway, what happened after that was bizarre because I didn't win, but I went to the award ceremony and I got highly commended, which I didn't expect. It was like, wow. And so they called out my name and it was claps, whatever. And then I'd seen this man staring at me across the room and he came over to congratulate me. And that's how I met my husband. It was at that event. So if the agent hadn't shoved me into that competition, I wouldn't have met my man, which is why I'm saying when opportunities come up and, you know, part of the reason I didn't want to do it was I didn't think I could do it. And then, you know, the little voice of my mum went, just give it a shot. Just go for it, you know?
Well, she did say if you go, you might meet somebody.
Yeah, she did. And oh my God, was she right? Didn't expect my husband. No, it's amazing. So we were married 20 years. And then there's a sweet story to that, really, because how the book publishing came about was roll forward to our daughter, who was then about 6 and couldn't sleep. Meanwhile, I had started selling art. I started out small and I loved doing it. I used to envy the art director when I was a copywriter, which I could do the pictures, not words. And I'd been doing evening classes in art, and the teacher had given me a pen and said, "Have you ever tried illustration?" And I said, "No, no." So give it a go. And I'd drawn this picture of fairies climbing through a magical tree. And I couldn't sleep, she couldn't sleep that night. So she crawled into bed with me and I was trying to get her to go to sleep. And so I said, well, imagine a story to go with this illustration. And her little voice went, oh, how about the fairies are chasing a hobgoblin? And I was like, okay, I'm still desperate to sleep. Why would they be chasing a hobgoblin? Well, because he's stolen a magic cloak. And I went, and it's good to push your kids' imagination. So I said to her, all right, well, why is it a magic cloak? What is it made of? And she said, it's made from the thread of a rainbow. And I just went, wow, you know, that the hairs went up my arm. I said, it's made from the thread of a rainbow. Wow. Okay, so he's stealing the thread of a rainbow. Yes, he's stealing the thread. I said, what does this cloak do when you wear it? And she said, it sucks the color from all over the world into the cloak, so he's handsome and magnificent. So that gave me the idea for a children's book, and which I got published with a really sweet agent publishing house. And then at the launch of the book, we were all having a big lunch at the book fair, and I had sent the editor the small version of the story I was telling you about, the girl in a world where it's called to be size 18 and out to be super skinny. And at that time, size 0 was a big thing. Everyone was being faced with Sarah Jessica Parker's size 0, you know. So it was a kind of satire statement really against the press, telling us what's attractive and not. And she was a big woman, so I'd sent her the 70-page novelette and forgotten about it. And then suddenly at the lunch, she said, "I know what our next project should be." I looked up and I was mouthful of onion bhaji, and she suddenly went, "Lindsay, tell them about Fat Chance." And I literally choked and had to try and pitch it in 10 words. But they took it, and I came away from that lunch with a commission to write a novel in 6 months. So that's how I ended up writing a full proper novel that got published and did really
But it
well.
wasn't called Fat Chance.
No, actually, I'm actually fast forwarding. It was actually called Flesh. Then when we launched it, it was called Fat Chance, and it did very well as a hardback. And then they contacted me a year later and said they wanted to now release it as a paperback. And I said, well, if we're going to redo it, can I A, do the cover? Because by then I was doing a lot of art. And B, I said, Fat Chance. I'd seen women reading it on the train or when I had to go to book launches, and there was a kind of, for the women who were overweight, they uncomfortable with that title. So I said, let's call it Making It Big, because the heroine of the book goes on to Hollywood and does make it big as this gorgeous, huge, sort of size 18 goddess. And then it all goes wrong. She starts to lose weight in that world where it's cool to be a size 18. So we changed it. They allowed me to change it to Making It Big, and then it did much better with that title, and surprisingly well. I was like taken aback how well it went.
Yeah, but then you did exactly what your heroine did. You went to Hollywood.
I know, it was mad. It was mad. It was mad. So the book, I mean, bearing in mind, I actually want to be a novelist, really. It was crazy. The book took off. It's a real Marmite book. Either love it or hate it. And it got unbelievably to number 9 on Kindle. And when you hit sort of the top 10, what happens is you go onto something called Publishers, I think it's Publishers Weekly, which is it goes out to all the film studios and they look at books to see what would make a good film. So suddenly I was getting offers from all over the place to talk about the rights to the book. And the most exciting one was actually from a writer called Lee Aronson, who I was a huge fan of his program. It was a comedy called Two and a Half Men.
We all know
You
about
all know,
that.
yeah. He did Two and a Half Men, and he'd also had the concept with Chuck Lorre on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I got this Hollywood call. Would I like to talk to Lee Aronson? And I was like, what? What? Anyway, he offered me a wonderful deal. It was money for the book option, but he said, here's the gamble. I could pay you a lot of money, or would you like to come and write a script with me and come to Hollywood and we'll pay for you to come out? So I went for the Hollywood. I wish I should have gone for the money, but I went for the Hollywood experience, which was living in this amazing condominium. It was the dream. It was the Hollywood dream for 8 weeks. I loved
Did
it.
you
It was
leave the
brilliant.
husband and the daughter behind?
Oh God, they came out for 2 weeks. And my daughter hated it. She was a goth at the time, and she thought Hollywood was completely fake, didn't like it at all. My husband would have come. He thought it was great. I found Hollywood absolute hoot if you didn't take it seriously, but if you took it seriously, you could get very chewed up. And what happened with the script was he had control of it, and he was very male, and his message really, he didn't quite get what my message was. My message was, if you're big or small, it's fine. Don't let the media dictate what's fashionable. And he at the time was doing very much big is fine, but I knew there was going to be a hit back with health. So, but I had no control over the script because he paid for the script and paid for my time to be out there. And he was a lovely man, but quite strong to work with.
It
Uh,
never made it into a series or a
no, no. And the problem was it had a very small time frame to do that, really, because I mean, if somebody's interested, contact me, it'd be fantastic. But I think at the time, the size 0 lasted about 2 years. So it was a time to actually really do that then. It could be adapted. I had oh, I had offer from ITV to make it, and I turned it down for Hollywood. I thought I'd go for the main chance.
And looking
But
back,
I
would
did have one
you
from
have
ITV.
preferred to have taken the money and run?
Well, do you know what? I don't, because I think life, like, truthfully, I think life's all about experiences. And if I had taken the money from ITV, um, or if I'd gone with them, I think I might have always thought, oh, it could have been a movie. The fun of Hollywood, I mean, oh my God, it was hysterical. It was picked up in a limo with Fiji water and parties, and everyone wants to be your best friend when you're working out there. And Lee warned me that. He said everyone's going to want to be your best friend, and it was a fun time. And I don't regret any of it. I don't regret any of it, really. I think probably I'd have gone for the experience even now than the money. Um, yeah, because you can't take the money with you when you die. So yeah, I think I don't regret it.
Okay,
I'd like to do something
and then
now if I had the chance.
how long were you out in Hollywood? When did you return home?
Oh, was it only it was two solid months. So it took so and the writing of the script was hysterical. I'd end up at Lee's apartment, and we had his assistant would type behind us, and the typing would come up on this massive screen in front. So, didn't even damage my nails. You don't type out there. You have some assistant typing a script. I mean, it was and I got on the set of Two and a Half Men and met the cast and Aston Kutcher at that time, who'd just taken over. So it was really fun. It was really, really fun and totally, totally unexpected. All of it.
Well, and so you had this career as a writer. When did it start to develop? Where did your artistic side really start to develop and the art side start to take over?
Hmm. I started doing the art was weird. I'd gone into again, you see, life is strange. I'd gone into an art shop, and I was looking for a big painting to go in my kitchen. I was being very, looking for pastel colors, couldn't find it. And the guy in there said to me, were you good at art at school? And I said, well, I loved it. And he said, well, paint something. He said, I'll frame it. He said, and I bet it will look good, and you'll have exactly what you want. So I did, and he was right. It looked a lot better framed. And then people started asking who the artist was. So I started doing pieces for like £80, £100. And then it kind of snowballed. And over about 10 years, I was doing that, 10, 15 years, and enjoying it. I was doing fairs, but the prices were going up to like 350, 400, 450. And then I sold a piece to a guy, two pieces to a guy, and he then sold them on for 5,000. And I was like, what? I'd sold them for 450, and he confessed he'd sold them on. At that point, I was then going through a breakup with my husband, and I thought, what do I really, really love? And I thought, it's art. It's art. So at the grand old age of, i.e., 4 years ago, I thought I would study properly, because I knew to get into the top galleries, you had to be taken seriously and you had to be serious. So I went to university at a very, very late age and I took a 2 years MFA, 2 years master's in fine art, and that ended 2 years ago, I think. Came out of that, and it's just been a crazy whirlwind really since then. So it was the best thing I could have done, was take it seriously, and I love it. 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 It's the
So you're
best thing.
taking on private commissions and you're doing exhibitions.
Yeah. So when I graduated, I got into the Saatchi Gallery in the grad show. There I met a Chinese artist who invited me, showed my work to a curator in Shanghai. She invited me to Shanghai. Went with my daughter, had an incredible 2 weeks in Shanghai, and kind of like the Shanghai Tate is sort of the only Westerner. It was a sort of exhibition on eco, and my work at the time, I live on a houseboat, so I was using Thames River water and talking about pollution. So, and then from Shanghai, I came back, and again, because I live on a boat, I got invited into Kingston Museum for 6 months, did a 6 month show with them, which was amazing because I can't believe it was alongside Turner and Millay, and it was like I was a contemporary artist. And that's finished, and now I've got a show in the West End at Freud, which is a seriously uber cool gallery bar that's been going for about 40 years, the Freud family. And I've got up 2 floors of work up there now for 2 months. So please go along, enjoy, have a cocktail, and Great,
Now, as
great
we can
place to go.
see, your art that you are exhibiting in the in that gallery is very much inspired by your watery home.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So it's also inspired by Glastonbury. I've called the show As Above, So Below, Secret Glastonbury. Um, and it's actually three bodies of my work combined into a story. There's a video that will tell you the story of the exhibition. So I love making videos as well, which I think is something I really want to make my work link with. So I made a video with a lovely collaborator who does music and editing called Barbara Mendes. And the midnight before the show opened, we were still editing and getting it together. I was like, oh my God, I aged. It's only been 3 or 4 days since the opening, and I'm not still like this. It will tell the story. Basically, I've been going to a town called Glastonbury, which I adore. It's weird little beautiful town in the Somerset Hills, like a bubble. And when you say Glastonbury, everyone thinks of the festival, but the reality is this little town's been going for hundreds of years, and it's very New Age,
And
pagan.
has a very famous tour.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. It's like a riddle. It stands on a hill. It's like a cenote overlooking the valley, it dominates the valley, and it's full of mystery and magic. And the work I've been doing is inspired by the air at the top of the tour and the magic of the tour and the myth. So the town is called Avalon, and King Arthur, a Lady of the Lake, and Merlin. Avalon existed, and the tour was once surrounded by water. And the stories that you hear is that there are waterfalls hidden inside the Tor Mound. It's huge. It's massive, great mountain, that there are waterfalls and lakes and mermaids and magic and fairy queens and kings living inside the tour. So the exhibition is very mythical, and the water imagery that I've been playing with before worked beautifully as an Avalon story. And then I added on the pieces I'd made before, I then added two so that it all kind of linked with As Above, So Below. Um, yeah,
Very beautiful. Very
thank you. Thank you. And I mean, I love making this the new direction I've gone in, and I'm sort of, and the good news, it can be big. So it's great for people who have got big houses or offices, whatever. You can expand and make some spiritual art. I like the idea of bringing something. That we live in a very, very modern world, and I think we lose touch with our ancestry, our folklore, and things that reach us in our heart, and keys and portals, and we don't see it because everything's material and hard. And my art, what I'm trying to do is reach people, A, to tell them about this amazing place, go discover it, maybe go discover yourself, it's an amazing place, but also to bring that softness to a very
Mm.
harsh world.
And a bit of
There really
tranquility as well, I suppose, as well.
Mm,
We don't get very tranquil, everybody's mind is so busy, and you're so busy, 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 just to stop and
totally.
breathe.
Totally. I
It's
mean,
like a
the meditation, yeah, that softness. I mean, a lot of it was inspired by Kochi chimes, which I should have brought down. They're up there, but they make this amazing music, and you can meditate to it, and it's almost like it's just tinkling music. And when I was making the art, I had the chimes playing, so I was trying to feel that Glastonbury vibe and put it into my art. So that maybe hopefully it will transcribe to some people. And the feedback has been great. I think people have got it. So yeah, yeah, it's good. If nothing
yeah.
more comes from it than this exhibition, I will die happy, really.
It's a lovely, mystical, magical, and as Melanie said, tranquil feel to the piece.
Thank
It's
you.
really beautiful.
Thank you. That's
What are
great.
your top tips for fine artists, for people getting into or launching a career as an artist?
Top tips. Um, oh, well, I have to say, I think depending what level you want to try and aim for, but the art world is still very closed. So if you are really serious about it, I'm afraid you have to go to not only just do, I mean, at the point I was lucky because I'd done the children's book and the cover and I'd done a lot of art. I got straight into a master's. I mean, I never did a foundation. So I'm very lucky they took me for a master's. I went to a good school, Kingston School of Art. Um, but I would say if you really want to aim for the top, then you have to do something like a master's. Um, because they're very closed about outsiders. Having said all of that, if you want to make a living, I mean, I'm about to try a couple of new platforms where you sell directly. I'm looking at that possibility. The galleries are suffering at the moment. They're all finding it, I think, quite hard. Um, Top tips. Oh, here's a good one. What we were taught, and I don't do it enough, but I intend to, is sign up with the galleries that you really would love to be with, get on their mailing list, go to their openings. Don't approach them. You're never supposed to approach the gallery. They ask you, oh, are you a buyer or are you interested in art? And then you go, well, I do, but I'm also an artist. Now, if they like your personality or vibe or your look, they will 100% will say, oh, what kind of art do you do? And that's your chance to give a card. Have cards. Absolutely. A lot of artists don't even bother with the cards. They're not professional about it being a business. Have really good cards. Have a flyer card. If you're doing a show, make sure you have flyers. Yeah. And also, if you do go to uni, end up painting what you really like. Don't get too much in your head about what they think is cool and in. Do what you feel really speaks to you. I'm finding I'm having more success doing that than containing myself, not to be, you know, they teach you a lot about being mysterious with your art, don't spell it out, this and that, the other. But I think there's a coming round now to more figurative art, more art that's easy to explain. I think people have got fed up with the white plimsoll in the middle of a gallery and everyone walking around it going, is that because the artist walked with his life? Is that because the artist feels his soul is worn out? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of that kind of art out there, and I think people are now turning against it. Art Speak's not as popular as it was. You used to go into a gallery and be blinded by this, description that you wouldn't understand. And I think that's easing up now, which is, I think, a really good thing. It should be accessible.
Yeah, and I think, art is very subjective. One thing will appeal to one person, one thing will appeal to somebody else.
Really
You
learned
can't be
that. Don't,
too
yeah.
smart about it. There's a lot of snobbery in the art world and a lot of rubbish, I have to say, and a lot of the art speak is quite rubbish. It's very
Really is.
snobby, and people don't want that. They want connection. They want more genuine feeling. I think it was Picasso who coined a phrase. You said, learn the rules of art to be accepted, and Picasso said, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist.
I love it. I got told off for disrespecting my tutors in a formal letter at the end of end of my 2 years, and I was so proud. It's like, yeah, it's fine. I can live with that at my age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. Um, I think that's really true. And start if you're starting brand new, start with local shows. I did some local shows at the Landmark Arts. You pay for a little booth, you get the feedback, hopefully you cover your costs. And that's a really good place to start. It's not overly too much. Also, there are local art groups probably all over the country. I belong to one called Chaos, and we do art shows at the Rose Theatre, and we do open studios. So those are good ways to start if you're looking to break in and try. And
And
then
websites as well. It's almost like a given now. Every author, every artist has their own website.
oh yeah, yeah, I do too. And Instagram and all of those things, but they do take an awful lot of upkeep and you have to do it. You're right. And in fact, Instagram, most people ask, what's your Instagram? So it's probably more important as an artist to have easily seeable pictures on Instagram more maybe than a website now.
Instagram is the way to go. I mean, especially for visual trades and industries. And my other hat, I'm an expertise in video marketing, and visual marketing is my thing. So when you look at the stats of video marketing and return on investment for video marketing, Instagram is very, very high. People will take action and often buy something once they've seen it on Instagram above any other platform.
Wow.
So
Wow.
people, you know, people love video. They love to see things. But Instagram, if you're selling a visual product, Instagram is the place to be.
I think I better load up my new I better load the art up fast.
It's free.
I think.
You know, Instagram is free,
Yeah.
Facebook is free, LinkedIn is free if you're going to do some business networking. You know, nobody can afford to turn their backs on social media because you're missing a trick. You know, websites have to be paid for and hosted and run and make sure they don't crash or that they're not attacked and all of this stuff. But Instagram and social media, for the most part, is free. You can get into paid advertising, but for the most part, it's free. And I think a lot of artists, especially new ones, just need to get comfortable about showing their art to people. Don't sit in your bedroom or, you know, your studio and lock it away.
Yeah,
Show people what you can do, and the word will spread.
Exactly. And as you say, some people will love it, some people go, oh, it doesn't matter, because but everyone, there's so many different tastes out there. And the times I've had people come up to me, even just recently, when these girls came up and they were so moved. A one woman came because she'd seen, interesting you say that. So we've done this video, and she'd seen a snippet of it, seen a particular painting, had left her restaurant to come and see it in real life, and has asked me, it's a quite a sad figure actually within the painting, and has asked just for that part, would I do a print of it, just that area for her. But you know what? I'd have given it to her for free. I was so touched that she'd come all the way to see this particular part of the painting, and she saw it on the video. So I'd love to talk to you at some point about marketing the video, really. That's something I need to know. But no, you're right. You're right. I mean, do you think Instagram's, because now it seems very video TikTok-y than it used to be, and I've had people in the art world saying to me they're not getting the likes they used to get, and the algorithms have changed. I don't know if that's
Instagram is pushing video big time, and it has been for quite a few years now. Most of the social media platforms are pushing video. LinkedIn is now 70% of people saying they're getting results from LinkedIn, biggest, highest numbers for LinkedIn ever. So the driver is towards video. And don't just show videos of your art. I mean, you can do time-lapse videos of you creating something, or you can talk about your art. You know, people like to see the face behind.
Okay, here's a conundrum which artists will face. So on the MFA with the elitist world, you don't do that. They said, you know, my Instagram should be just my art, nothing about me, nothing about the show, just your art, 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 art. So it looks like this beautiful kind of thingy. And I've broken from that, which maybe a top gallery would turn their nose up at me now, because I have broken from that. I've shown stages of the art and this, that, and the other, and broken away from the old traditional way. Same with your website. The MFA course will teach you have like the one painting on the front and your name in tiny writing, and then you just, I don't know. I think I'm saying to myself, do my own thing. It may or may not be the right thing, but it is difficult.
I think you have
to gel the two.
You have to be attuned to what the market wants. And yes, there might be a certain fraction of the market that wants a very minimalist, clean website that makes you look ultra, ultra elite and inaccessible to everybody else. But if you're trying to reach a wider market, as I said before, people want genuine connection these days. They want to feel, they want to know the history behind the art. They want to know the artist. They want to know whether they gel with you as a person. Your ethics and way of living the same as theirs. Are they going to be proud to hang a picture of yours in their conference room because your values as an artist align with theirs as a corporate eco? Whatever.
That's good point. I think,
you know, you choose who you do business with, but they like to know who they're doing business with as well. And when you're in the business of being creative, which is what we always push here at Creatives, there's lots of different strands that you need to think about, and it's not just one rule suits everybody. And you can get sucked into, oh, if I do this, then somebody won't look at me.
Yes. Yes.
But then 20 other top clients might.
Yeah, no,
You
you're right. Honestly,
so,
you're right. I'm really glad we're having this conversation because I feel I'm at that weird crossroads where I can either try and go right to aim for that elitist market or I don't. And I think my personality probably is I don't because I just am not. I I can't take it too. No, I do love it. I got to be careful what I say, but I think my personality probably suits where I'm at and maybe continue with the kind of Instagram I've got and not worry about it.
The sad truth is that the days of the artists sitting, beavering away in their little attic and churning out masterpieces are over. You have to be a business if you want to. I mean, obviously, you can do art and not sell it and just enjoy doing art. But if you want to make a living out of it, you do need to treat it as a business.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. You're right. And a lot of artists aren't. And
Mm. So let's
um,
delve into your beautiful, artistic, magical mind.
yeah.
Melanie has her values jam cards out. She's
oh,
going to spread them out into a fan, and you're going to choose one.
oh, okay.
And depending on what's on the card,
Uh-huh.
she's going to ask you some questions, and you literally have to answer the first thing that
Oh
comes into
no.
your mind. Okay?
Okay.
Don't even think logically, just even if it sounds absolutely weird, if the first image that comes into your mind, just say it.
All right.
You can see my little finger.
Yeah.
I'm going to run my finger along the cards. You're going to say stop when you want me to stop.
Okay. I keep going, keep going, keep going. Also, okay, keep going and stop.
I should go for the sticky outy one. What did we get? What did we get? We always get very good cards usually for our guests, don't we, Julie?
Mm.
Ooh,
And if they're not good, they certainly are challenging.
Oh
they're
God.
entertaining, aren't they?
Okay. I don't know what's coming. I don't know what
Right?
coming,
But
We
but
we're
don't want you
creative,
to
so we're
know
going to
what's
ask you
coming.
creatively about this. This is not going to be boring business. So you picked. Are you ready, Lindsay?
yeah, ready.
What did you pick? You picked
Go on.
positive impact.
Positive impact. Positive impact.
Positive impact. Okay. So it's going to be
Okay.
a lot of different things, but I see you as being quite a positive person, and I think it's quite a good card for you. So we're going to ask you creatively, obviously, about positive impact. So, Lindsay, what does positive impact mean to you? If you could
Mm.
physically see it and it walked up to you in the street and says, "Hi, I'm positive impact," what would it look like to you?
It would look like a glowing ball of energy that radiated light and warmth to everyone it encompassed.
Well, that is
I think positive impact. I mean, energy levels. I'm a positive person. I can believe you me. I can be negative too when I'm down, but I think if you genuinely like people and you show that when you meet them, they will come to you. Energy level and impact, it's all about if you can stay positive, people will pick up on that. If I was to come on here and go, yeah, well, the show's quite good, so that's
nobody would come.
show's great. So show it, just positive impact. Be the positive impact, I think I'd say, and spread that energy to people because it's great. You know the power. You walk into a room, you can lift it.
Yeah.
Do that when you meet people and when you walk into a room. It's fun and it's good. It's a good thing to do.
What does it feel like?
Positive impact. You feed off it. So if you're positive, I love you get it straight back. If you go into a shop and you buy something and you deliberately smile at the person behind the counter and say, "Oh, thank you," you're going to get lovely feedback back. And that's become it's a bit of a spiritual practice, really, which is kind of goes into my work. But I learned that about 20 years ago, and maybe that is what's made me ride this amazing wave of creativity that I've been lucky enough to experience. It's probably positive impact. You give it and you get it. It's a two-way street. And think of it as just a ball of happy energy that you can pass to somebody when you meet them, and they will pass it back.
I love that. I really love that,
Really?
Lindsay. Wonderful answers.
I'm going to come off this call going, what did I say?
I think we're all a lot more positive.
about,
Your positive impact has had a positive impact on all of us here on the couch today. What do you think, Julie?
Absolutely. And loving your art. Absolutely loving it.
Oh, I'm so pleased. So
And
pleased.
thanks so much for agreeing to talk to us. It's been such a pleasure.
No, I've really enjoyed it. I've really, really enjoyed it. Thank you. And thank you for making me think certain things too. And let's talk after as well at some point.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you. And yeah, anyone can get along to see the show. That's great. And for those who can't afford the big pieces, I'm doing prints as well. So I want everyone to have a piece, not if they can't afford it. I want everyone to have a piece. So
Wonderful.
yeah, hope to see you guys soon. And thank you very much for having me on. Enjoyed it a lot.
Brilliant. Until next time,
Take care now. Bye.